My name is Neil Owen. I collect Star Wars figures and Star Wars vehicles, vintage Star Wars stuff. I started collecting in '93 to roughly around '98. I started to collect Star Wars stuff mainly as an accident, really. It all started from a trip to Edinburgh where I bought a boxed AT-AT. The guy then said to me that you will collect from then on in, and I kind of dismissed it and said no, I wouldn't. But then it kind of grew and grew, and I now have quite a sizable collection. This is just a mere fraction of it. The Imperial Shuttle is a beautiful object. It's quite bulky, so I never really understood how a child could actually play with it. But well, I think the main feature with it is it's the wings just fold down. The cockpit can come out and then fit the figures in. And there's also a side panel that comes off that reveals all the interior. So it's a very beautiful ship itself, but how a child could ever play with it is beyond me. The piece itself is actually quite hard to come by. You don't often see them, especially at that time in the toy fairs and anything like that. So it really was a find. The Sandcrawler is remote control. It's such a rare piece that I've never really seen it. I've only ever seen it once when I bought it. I think it's a beautiful object, and the detailing on it is phenomenal for what it is. And itself, you can open up the side panel to see the interior, and there's also a little flap which opens up on the cockpit itself. On this side, there's a little droid chute. I think it's quite a stunning piece, and I found it in the Toy and Collectors Market fair in Buxton. It's one of those things that is so rare to see, let alone see for sale. It's just a beautiful thing. Figures that kind of inspire me or I have some kind of resonance with are usually the ones that most people like. I think one of the favourites for most people is Boba Fett. I do like Boba Fett, but for me it's not kind of what it's all about. And also with Luke in Stormtrooper outfit, that was quite a popular one. But for me, I think I do like the TIE Fighter pilot. I don't know why, it just looks really menacing. Also, I am very fond of the blue snaggletooth, which is quite a rare piece, especially in this country. It was made as a cantina set that was only produced in America, and they actually got the size and shape of snaggletooth wrong. So when they actually issued the cantina set, it was full size in blue with kind of silver boots. And then Lucas quickly put the kibosh on that and then redid Snaggletooth to the actual size of what he was in the film. So these ones are very, very rare, especially in this country. And I do have a very fondness for this one. It took me a long time to actually find a blue Snaggletooth. Some of the other characters I like, as a kid, I always thought producing loads of different versions of R2-D2 was a bad move, but in hindsight I actually really like them. So you've got the original R2-D2 with just kind of clicking head movement, but then they released the sensor scope version with a little sensor scope that pops up, and then the final one, which was again quite hard to get hold of, is with the pop-up lightsaber. And this weapon is worth quite a bit of money because a lot of them lost this weapon. I decided to collect the vintage stuff mainly because it's what I remember as a child, and I have very fond memories of playing with it as a kid. But I also find that when they revamped the collection, or the actual range, they seem to get it wrong. They seem to kind of beef up the figures. I mean, the vehicles are relatively the same, with probably a few more decals on them, and the actual vehicles looked slightly better than the originals. But the actual figures themselves, I thought just looked horrendous. And to me, that wasn't what it was about. It wasn't about collecting it. It was almost about the childhood memories that I had and kind of going down that line. To me, it's not valuable as a collection. It was more of what I remember as a kid, and it's gone beyond that, much more beyond that, because I never had any of this stuff when I was a child. I think now the ethos that this stuff's collectible, therefore all the new stuff's going to be collectible, and people are collecting it and having it boxed. I think in 50 years' time, or however long, there's just going to be a glut of all this kind of Star Wars paraphernalia that's kind of boxed and mint because people think it's collectible. So I think it will be detrimental to all the new stuff because people want to collect it for collecting its sake rather than the vintage stuff, which was just toys. It just kind of comes together in a package like nothing else has ever done in terms of toys and film marketing, and I think Lucas was on a very shrewd move when he signed that deal.